You want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down.
Look at the stars. The great kings of the past look down on us from those stars. So whenever you feel alone, just remember that those kings will always be there to guide you.
I don't think it is very useful to speculate on what God might or might not be able to do. Rather, we should examine what he actually does with the universe we live in.
We are all explorers, driven to know what's over the horizon. The most profound discoveries are not necessarily beyond that next star. They're within us, woven into the threads that bind us.
Hello, beautiful people. Happy Friday, happy Venus Day, and welcome to the weekend. In today's episode, we're going to talk through the energy of Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So if you're joining me live, sit back, get comfy. Let me know how you're feeling in the current moment, in this current energy. And if you're finding this video later, I'll go ahead and add markers to the timeline so you can jump to whichever portion of the forecast you're interested in. We have two major shifts we're talking about this weekend. Tomorrow, Mercury enters Scorpio, and on Sunday, Mars stations retrograde. So we're going to dive into both of those transits in this episode. We have Corby here. Good afternoon. Nikki is here. Rachel and Diane are together. I love it. From Diane's house. We are just about 24 hours away from Diane getting married. I'm so excited. Yes. The moon is in Sagittarius, perfect energy to welcome the weekend, right? And tonight's going to be a fun night. So I don't know if you have anything fun planned pre-wedding, but it's definitely a fun night to be social, to be a little extra, a little over the top as well. Before we get into the forecast, I want to get a check on our notable birthdays. Of course, if you're a Scorpio, if you know someone else who's a Scorpio, they're celebrating a birthday this weekend, shout them out in the comments so we can celebrate them too. But we have some pretty powerful Scorpios to celebrate today, October 28th. Bill Gates is a Scorpio. Julia Roberts is a Scorpio. Caitlyn Jenner has a birthday today. Joaquin Phoenix, Frank Ocean, some really heavy hitters. Let's see, Nolan Gould, he was on, what's that show, Modern Family. I believe that's who that is. Brad Paisley. Wow. Sometimes I'm shocked by how deep some of the biggest celebrities are on these lists. Matt Smith, if you've been watching House of the Dragon, he's in that show, definitely giving off Scorpio vibes. Tomorrow, Winona Ryder celebrates a birthday. She is a prime example of Scorpio eyes. I always talk about Scorpio eyes and Winona Ryder. I mean, look at her eyes even in this picture, like the intensity, right? Bob Ross is a Scorpio, really embodying that creativity. Gabrielle Union. Let's see, anyone else? Tovlo, Tracy Ellis Ross. Oh my goodness. If you had any question about how powerful Scorpios are, all you have to do is look at who's celebrating a birthday this weekend. And just for fun, on October 30th, Ivanka Trump is celebrating a birthday. Devin Booker, the Scorpio King. We are very tuned into Devin Booker's energy in this house with the Suns fan out there. Henry Winkler is a Scorpio too. Gavin Rossdale, definitely getting the vibes from him. Wow, Matthew Morrison, very musically talented people as well. Okay, enough of the birthdays because it seems like we could just go on and on and on. Let's see. Rachel's feeling super excited, currently working on decorations, finalizing details. Your Virgo energy is happy. And Corby has some friends tonight that she's hanging out with. So that's perfect. Perfect for the Sagittarius moon energy and a perfect lead in to our check on the current energy. The sun in Scorpio, the moon in Sagittarius, making its final connections tonight and Saturday morning before it moves into Capricorn for the rest of the weekend. So let's talk about the Sagittarius moon because that's really all we're feeling on this Friday. It's a waxing crescent moon in Sagittarius, and the waxing crescent phase is the phase where we're planning and we're preparing. We're gathering data, we're gathering information, and we're getting ready to take action, but we're not necessarily taking action just yet, although you might feel like you want to under the Sag moon today, especially with some of the connections it's making. So this really is helping us enter the weekend with optimism. We're looking ahead during the waxing crescent moon, and the Sagittarius energy gives us that reassurance, and it's almost like we're planning and preparing with an adventurer's heart. We're like, how can we be prepared but also still in the energy of spontaneity and adventure and excitement? Gratitude is very powerful under a Sagittarius moon regardless of the phase, and we'll feel more social and generous. So this morning, and something we're still kind of feeling right now, is the moon forming a sextile to Saturn. So you can see on the chart here, the moon at 20 degrees, Saturn is currently at 18 degrees. There he is over there, and they're about 60 degrees away from each other. This is a supportive angle that we started feeling first thing this morning. And when the moon gets support from Saturn, it can just help us tap into that sense of responsibility and duty. So today's a day you might feel like checking things off of your to-do list, or, you guys working together to plan the wedding, getting those final things done. Hi, Jackie. The moon and Saturn working together helps us just to be mature, responsible, patient. Might even feel like the pace today is kind of slow and steady, wins the race, keeping our senses about us. But the Sagittarius moon is keeping the fire lit and giving us the optimism and energy we need to get everything done. So the moon and Saturn working together, really a nice balancing act, with the Sagittarius moon being more wild and Saturn being Saturn and just being like, no, let's keep our senses about us. Now, this evening, the moon squares Neptune. This happens at 5 p.m. Pacific time, so 8 p.m. Eastern time. And I really feel like this transit is going to affect you differently based on where you're at in your day. So the moon squaring Neptune, this is a 90-degree angle. It's a clashing of these energies, and it could cause some confusion or even some sleepiness. You might tire yourself out earlier than you expect to, or maybe you just want to take a quick cat nap if you have plans later tonight. Now, what's really important about this is the moon's in Sagittarius, and we have one more transit that's going to keep the energy pretty high throughout the evening. So even if you're not feeling sleepy, another byproduct of this transit, the moon squaring Neptune, is being easily deceived or confused. So, with the moon in happy-go-lucky Sagittarius, we're like overly optimistic, and we want to give everybody the benefit of the doubt and be generous and give to other people, and really like keep that energy going and keep putting ourselves out there, all these things. I just realized there's a really straight piece of my hair right here. That's also the Sagittarius moon. That feels very like ding, like my attention just taken somewhere random. Anyway, because we're in such a generous, outgoing mood, it's easy to be caught up in somebody being like, oh, come do this, or we should do this, or if you get the bill, I'll pay you back, or, things like that. So definitely read the fine print, stop, take a beat, think things through before saying yes, or before riding that spontaneous energy that comes with the Sagittarius moon. Just a warning label there as the moon squares Neptune this evening. But we end this Friday night with the moon opposing Mars. This is 10 p.m. Pacific time, so 1 a.m. Eastern time. Late tonight, we're going to start to feel that opposition really, taking hold. So here's what that looks like. Let me see. Where are you? The moon opposing Mars on our chart here. Almost, you can see that red line. And when the moon opposes Mars, of course, Mars is the planet of action and aggression. And an opposition between the fiery Sagittarius moon and Mars in Gemini can make us quick to act, quick to speak, and just impulsive and a little bit restless in general. This transit can also make us a little bit irritable or annoyed because there's this like restless energy, like let's just get on with it already. So If you find yourself maybe past your limits, out and about, you have been roped into doing something that maybe wasn't a 100% yes for you tonight. It is Halloween weekend. You know, there's a lot going on this weekend. Maybe you find yourself out and about and deep down you're tired and you just want to go home. Watch out for being cranky or irritable. It's almost as if the square between the moon and Neptune leads up to this opposition to Mars. Like if you were roped into anything or kind of deceived in any way, it might spark your temper. So again, slowing down, keeping a slow and steady pace, and taking a beat before you agree to something could save you a headache down the road. It's really not the time to, yes, we can be spontaneous and adventurous, but don't be spontaneous just for the sake of being spontaneous. Really check in with your own energy and your own authority, and maybe even say, like, give me a minute to think about it. If somebody invites you to something, to check in with yourself and how you feel, because you don't want to end up ruining everybody's night because you said yes to something that wasn't a true yes to you. Katie says, feeling amazing and more like myself after my reading yesterday. Yay, I love the Sagittarius energy right now. Everybody's, I think, feeling it, feeling good. Yeah, might take a nap after I finish dinner. It's a busy day. Yes, and sometimes even just my brain, when I like go to take a nap, can't fully shut off, but I'll just set an alarm on my phone. I'm like, I'm going to close my eyes for 10 minutes. Give my brain and my eyes a rest, give my body a rest. And that might be the square to Neptune. It might not be that you even need a full-blown nap. It might just be like, oh, my body is tired a little bit. Like I pushed myself a little hard today. That Sagittarius optimism took over. And now we got to just take a beat, return to ourselves, you know, allow our energy to be replenished a little bit. Oh, love you, Jackie. So that's our Friday. It's all about the Sagittarius moon. We're feeling the good vibes. We just want to make sure we don't burn ourselves out, which Sagittarius energy can be a little over the top, don't we know it? So slow and steady. Ooh, going to a yoga class and sauna. Relax on this Friday night. What a beautiful way to tap into that square to Neptune, right? Like finding ways to relax and restore and rest our body. Yeah, I bet that was hard work, Jackie, cleaning out the salt room here in Sacramento. The salt room is closing, which is so sad. And some amazing volunteers have been breaking it all down and cleaning it out. So yes, already resting and recharging, already feeling that square to Neptune. You deserve it. Absolutely. Okay, let's start talking about some of these heavy hitter transits this weekend. Ooh, my costume for the festival was a bumblebee. I think it embodies the energy I was buzzing all about today. We love that. You are the queen bee. Yeah, so glad I didn't push myself to do more. I knew my body was done, so I came home, put on your channel, and you're confirming exactly what I'm feeling. Don't we love when that happens? You were meant to hear this message, Jackie. So let's move on to our Saturday. Mercury is moving into Scorpio. This is happening at 12:22 in the afternoon on Saturday, right around noon. So it'll be, 3-ish for you on the East Coast. Just in time, I think, for Diane's wedding to have a stellium in Scorpio to get married under, which is really cool. So Mercury in Scorpio, what does that mean for us? We talked about this a little bit when we went through the transits ahead for Scorpio season, but just to refresh your memory, Mercury, the planet of communication, thought, intellect, ruling our mental state, moving into the deepest, darkest, most intimate sign of the zodiac, really feels like secrets. Mercury in Scorpio feels like talking in a hushed tone, more intimate conversations, deeper conversations, deep dives with other people, and also having conversations you can only have with people that you truly trust is what it feels like with Mercury in Scorpio. Secrets could be revealed as well. What has been hiding in the shadows could surface through these conversations or interactions we're having. And we're also reminded that our words are very powerful. Scorpio energy packs a punch. It It is that power that comes from deep within, in our sacral center, if you will. So Mercury and Scorpio, there is a little warning that comes with this transit over the next couple weeks too. Mercury will be here until November 17th. And actually, Jackie was literally just talking about this today. And I love that you're here for this, Jackie, because it's so Mercury and Scorpio. Mercury and Scorpio, she was talking about truth and harsh truths. And Scorpio energy just wants to get to the bottom of it, wants to get to the truth of it, cut through the bullshit, don't waste any time, just get to it. So our communication could follow that pattern a little bit with Mercury and Scorpio. So we want to remember that we can speak our truth. We can, even harsh truths, we can speak it in a way that's, what's the point of telling someone the harsh truth if they're not going to hear it, right? So we want to make sure we're communicating in a way that can be received. Now, that doesn't mean we have to make everything all warm and fuzzy and fluffy, but part of being vulnerable and intimate in conversation is making sure that there's safety there, right? That's why we're talking about intimate conversations that you can have with people that you really trust. So if you need to have a hard conversation, and if you're really being pulled to have a hard conversation, or just say it like it is, get to the harsh truth of the matter with Mercury and Scorpio in the next few weeks, maybe practice some prefacing of those conversations. Like, I say this with love. I want you to know this might come across as kind of harsh, but I'm telling this to you because I love you. Or even asking permission, like, hey, there's something on my heart that I really want to share with you, and it might not be the easiest thing to hear. Are you open to it? Right? Just might be nice to give a little bit of warning before you let that full scorpion sting come out and be like, you just have to hear the truth right now. Like, this is how it is. That feels kind of like how Mercury and Scorpio can be. So we don't want to be reactive. That's a byproduct. We don't want to, in the moment be like, I need to say this thing. If you're feeling reactive or like any sort of hostility coming up, taking a beat so the scorpion tail doesn't sting is what I recommend. And remember, you can speak your truth without being mean, without being nasty, without being harsh. Even if you really feel like they just need to hear the truth, that's fine. I get it. Sometimes people got to hear the truth, but we can do it in a kind way. Now, one more byproduct of this transit, darker thoughts, repressed memories could come up. Remember, this is all about what's been hiding deep within, maybe what we've been burying or pushing down, coming up into our mental and rational awareness. So just know that over the next couple weeks, it could be long lost memories coming back up, or conversations, not necessarily like Mercury retrograde that you're revisiting conversations. It's more like things that you don't normally like to think about coming back up because we're in eclipse season. Things need to be released, right? And so if uncomfortable emotions or thoughts are coming up, just let them so they can finally be released. That's a beautiful way to lean into eclipse season and to work with Mercury and Scorpio. The last thing I'll say is that intimate conversations can help us more deeply connect with other people. And that's a really beautiful way we can use this transit, by having conversations that, even beautiful, intimate conversations, aren't always easy for us to have. Sometimes it's hard for us to be like, you really mean a lot to me and I love you so much. Or, I'm really worried about you. Even conversations that aren't like slapping truth in someone's face can be difficult. And so Mercury and Scorpio empowers us to be vulnerable and have those maybe more intense or vulnerable conversations. Yes, 3 p.m. is the ceremony. So Mercury will be moving right into Scorpio. And I love how it will probably be like really intense vows that you're saying with Mercury moving into Scorpio. I kind of love that. I feel like it's going to be really beautiful timing for the ceremony, for you to just let those vulnerable, beautiful truths out to each other in front of your closest friends and family. The stellium is part of my speech. Oh, I love it. I love that you're including astrology in the speech. That is freaking amazing. And you both have Mercury in Scorpio. It's like you planned it. And I know you did plan it a little bit around Samhain and like, you know, the changing of the seasons and fall and Scorpio season with so much Scorpio in both of your charts. But the timing even, that is so, so cool. Yeah, Jackie was just talking about this. I was saying, speak with compassion and kindness and truth and follow that strategy and authority, and the harsh truth can be received. So aligned. Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Nick watching Hocus Pocus too, really getting into that Scorpio season. Mercury in Scorpio also, that just lit something in my brain. It feels like casting spells with our words, you know. One of my good friends and mentors, Kat from Crystal Rising, always talks about the fact that spelling is called spelling because you're casting spells with your words. So that's something else to kind of tap into and can be kind of fun in a witchy way to use Mercury and Scorpio. It's part of, you know, you can call it spell work, you can call it manifestation, you can call it whatever you want, but it's a reminder that our words are powerful, and saying negative things attracts negative energy to us. Saying positive things attracts positive energy to us. Saying, I love myself when I look in the mirror, every time you say that, you're going to believe it a little bit more. Saying, I love when I receive money in my bank account. You're casting a spell. But saying something like, gosh, I wish I had more money in my bank account, I'm so worried about it, is only going to attract more of that worry and fear. So it's a really beautiful invitation to reframe even the mental dialogue you're having, but also especially the words you're speaking aloud, because words are powerful and they attract energy to us. It's one of the most basic and primary ways that we receive and give energy is through our words. So writing as well with Mercury and Scorpio, writing things down. It's the reason why, you know, in Hocus Pocus and witchy movies, they always say spells out loud, because when your words give power to the energy that you are creating or putting out or receiving. We came up with a boundary dance today, feeling that Scorpio sting. I love it. I love it. We love the boundaries. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Nothing but positive self-talk during Mercury and Scorpio. Got to bring in that self-love. I just have to say, I can like feel the energy of you and Diane being there together. You both seem really happy and bubbly, even just in the words that I'm reading on the screen. I can like feel your energy coming through and how excited you are to be together. And that just makes me so, so happy for both of you. I say a lot of negative things and should say more positive things. Even the word should, you know, you might have heard the phrase, we're shoulding all over ourselves. I should do this. I should do that. I should be here. And there's so much shame associated with should, like I should already know this, right? Instead being like, I deserve to speak positively to myself. I am worthy of positive affirmations, you know? Positivity is easy for me to come by. Even if you don't fully believe it, saying things over and over again, writing down affirmations, gratitude journaling, all of these things are small acts that create a bigger pattern in your mental state and make it easier and easier every time to say the positive, to think the positive, to be the positive. Warlocks do word locking, incantation spells. Exactly. And imagine if all the witches and warlocks of the world and, you know, in the movies and all the things were walking around like, man, I should really lose 15 pounds. You know, like they know their words are magical. And there's a reason we don't see them a lot of the time saying like, I mean, obviously we're talking about movies and things, but I have a hard time even thinking about a movie where witches or warlocks are like saying negative things about themselves. You know, they know the power of their words. The only thing we should do is ditch that silly word. Yes, I love it. The word should, such a protected word, holds little ground. I kicked that word out of my vocabulary. I love it. Yes, always a good time when we're together. We sent our fiancés out to carve pumpkins and we're having a great time in here like old times. Oh, that makes me so happy. That sisterhood, that bond you have with each other as Mercury moves into Scorpio too. I love that today, actually right now, let's look. Mercury is it at the anaretic degree already? Let me see. Mercury is at 28 degrees. So over the next few hours, tomorrow morning, Mercury will be at the anaretic degree of Libra. And especially for your wedding morning, I feel like that's going to be a lot of like, the anaretic degree is a little antsy, a little jumpy to get onto that next zodiac sign, and the next zodiac sign being so deep and intense and profound. I feel like the morning of the wedding, Saturday morning for all of us, is going to be a lot of like, I just love you so much and you look so beautiful and I can't believe that this is happening, with Mercury at 29 degrees in Libra, like all the beautiful things. And then during the ceremony, 3 p.m. Eastern time, noon Pacific time, Mercury moving into Scorpio is going to be like, okay, now let's get to the truth of why we're all here. This is an intense bond. This is what like truth and beauty and depth really looks like when we communicate with each other. I'm going to have to keep the peace. No. It's going to be beautiful and peaceful and perfectly intense. Our words are powerful. Yeah, we all can really feel the excitement, can't we? I love a wedding. I cannot wait to show pictures from the wedding to you all. I love that I get to like facilitate that. It's such a joy for me, like to be able to share their joy with you all. I just love this community. Emmy speech time. Yes. Yeah, Mercury will be in Scorpio. It'll be intense, but the best kind of intense. Yeah, all the rushing around, decorating, Mercury at the anaretic degree. Like, we just have to make it pretty. We just have to make it beautiful. So know that that's happening. And that's for all of us. Maybe Saturday morning feels a little rushed and busy for all of us with Mercury at the anaretic degree before Mercury officially moves into Scorpio. And I'm going to like triple check the time since it's becoming such a point of, it's 12:22 p.m. Pacific time. So it'd be 3:22 p.m. Eastern time that Mercury officially moves into Scorpio. So that's really the energy we're feeling on Saturday. Now let's talk about what's going on with the moon very specifically. And it is so fun too that we have like a specific event we're all kind of invested in, like what's going to happen throughout the day of Diane's wedding. So fun. So the waxing crescent moon will stay in Sagittarius for the morning, 5 a.m. Pacific time, so 8 a.m. Eastern time. The moon makes a couple different connections. And actually, I want to show this to you on the chart because it's a triangle playing out all at the same time. So let me get to where we need to be. Jump back, jump forward. Here we go. Recalibrate. So the moon in Sagittarius, 29 degrees. Again, talking about the anaretic degree here. This is 8 a.m. for you on your wedding day. So probably as you're waking up, most of us will be feeling this as we wake up, even on the West Coast as well. The moon at 29 degrees will form a sextile to Mercury. So you might want to like jump out of bed and go. It is that like, it might be a lot of mental energy happening with Mercury at the anaretic degree, and the moon supporting that will help us express our emotions verbally, or there's just an awareness of our emotions mentally when the moon and Mercury connect in a supportive angle. But at the same time, the moon is squaring Jupiter in Pisces. So again, playing into that like jump out of bed energy. It's over the top. It's kind of a surge of energy that might even feel overwhelming. We'll likely feel really optimistic and excited about the day ahead. I know I will, knowing that Diane is getting married even on the other side of the country. But it's also easy to go overboard under this aspect and easy to get a little overwhelmed with Mercury and Jupiter playing into this Sagittarius moon. It just feels like a lot of energy at the anaretic degree. So remember, if anxiety is coming up or your words or your thoughts are racing, take a breath. The transits don't control us. The awareness of them helps us to navigate them. So you have plenty of time. It's okay to slow down, and the slowdown will come as the moon moves into Capricorn. So it could feel like right when you wake up in the morning, like it's going to be, there's so much to do. There's so much I'm thinking about. it will slow down. It will slow down. So that brings us to the moon moving into Capricorn. And I can already like even thinking about the energy, I'm like, oh, okay. Sagittarius energy is up here. Capricorn energy is kind of the lull after the burst of energy that comes from Sagittarius. Much more grounded, much more stable, and I think a great transition pre-ceremony for you, Diane. So at 6 a.m., maybe, wow, I'm already getting ahead of myself. Maybe those of us here on the West Coast don't even really feel that overwhelm if we give ourselves permission to sleep in. But 6:22 a.m. Pacific time, 9:30 a.m. Eastern time is when the moon moves into Capricorn. Still a waxing crescent moon, so we're still in planning and preparing mode in this moon cycle, not quite to the first quarter moon yet. And it feels like preparation is the name of the game over the next couple days and really this weekend. It's like all of us prepping for fall festivities and activities and even Halloween happening on Monday or Samhain or, it just feels like this slow, steady preparation, this slow and steady march to get to the point where we're really in the swing of things with fall. And, after Halloween, it's like Thanksgiving and Christmas and all these things coming up. Feels like the waxing crescent moon in Capricorn is like, okay, one step at a time. We're also reminded that we do have plenty of time being the key component when we're talking about Capricorn energy, to execute our plan and to create a safe roadmap to get there. Remember that Capricorn is the sea goat. It climbs its way up the mountain, but it does it with sure feet, slow and steady. You don't see the goats jumping up the mountain. It's like one little perch at a time, one step at a time, right? So we're more protective, more logical with the moon in Capricorn, maybe not quite as ooey gooey and lovey, although Scorpio energy will take us into the depths of things. But the moon in Capricorn does slow things down a little bit this weekend. Now, by the evening, the moon in Capricorn starts to make a few different connections. So 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern time, the moon forms a sextile to the sun. I love anytime the moon and sun connect in a positive way. It just brings confidence, and it really will feel like, okay, we're moving forward, with this waxing crescent energy. Like we have the confidence and the power to move forward. The sun in Scorpio helping us to be aware and recognize our own power, our own depths, and the moon in Capricorn being like, we got this, just keep going forward. We know what the next step is logically. We just got to keep taking it. So it gives us confidence in that aspect. And also the internal and the external are working together when the moon and sun connect like this. Now, like I said, don't expect anything warm and fuzzy because Capricorn tends to be cold. Scorpio tends to be kind of harsh and cold too. So it's more like we understand our power, we understand our sovereignty and our abilities, and there's confidence in that aspect. And we can express ourselves in that way rather than being like, this is just how I'm feeling right now. That's not really the energy of the Capricorn moon. So it's like we're more likely to just kind of get to the point of how we're feeling, get to the point of expressing ourselves rather than dancing around it and making it seem nice and tied up in a pretty bow. The final transit on Saturday, again, beautiful for a wedding, 8 p.m. Pacific time, 11 p.m. Eastern time, the moon forms a sextile to Venus. So supportive connections all day with the Capricorn moon once it actually does move into Capricorn. And it'll feel easier to lean into love when the moon forms a sextile to Venus. Venus being in Scorpio. Again, it's very much this Capricorn Scorpio energy that we're feeling emotionally on Saturday because, Venus is in Scorpio, the sun is in Scorpio, Mercury will be in Scorpio, and the moon is in Capricorn. So it's more like, instead of it being like, oh, we just like want to share the love and blah, blah, blah. It more feels like intimate expressions of love. Great for a wedding night, right? Private displays of affection, if you will, are favored when the Capricorn moon connects with Venus in Scorpio rather than external bold displays of affection. Staying in could be even more fun than going out on Saturday night, if you know what I mean. And our bonds with other people, our relationships with other people could reach deeper levels that kind of just makes sense with the moon in Capricorn. You know, again, it's not like we're overly emotional. It's just like, oh, we understand that things are going to a deeper level. And safety feels huge right now with this Capricorn moon, because we're in Scorpio season and we're talking about so much intimacy and vulnerability. The Capricorn moon kind of helps us come back to protection and safety, protecting these relationships that we have, making other people feel safe, and doing it in a practical and logical way. What are y'all saying? Definitely went overboard with the decorations, so hopefully the slowdown comes and it feels less chaotic. And I feel like there will be an element of practicality that's reached on Saturday that's like, it's going to be what it's going to be, and it's going to be beautiful, right? Like the Capricorn moon can just kind of help you keep your wits about you and be like, we're going to be practical about this. If you get to a point where you're feeling the overwhelm first thing in the morning, the Capricorn moon can kind of just be like, okay, what's logical right now? You know, kind of help you come back to that. I handmade decorations, which was ambitious. The artist in me. Beautiful though. That's beautiful though. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like such a beautiful forecast too. Ending the day with the connection to Venus. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Okay, so that's our Saturday. Now let's talk about the other headline of the weekend, which happens on Sunday, and that is Mars stationing retrograde. Yes, the retrograde begins with Mars. Mars has really been at this slowdown for a couple weeks. We've been in the shadow period for almost 2 months now, so it's not going to feel necessarily like a jolt, I don't think, with Mars stationing retrograde, but the slowdown will continue even more. It really feels like the theme of the weekend is like pumping the brakes, you know, and that's the season we're in too. Things are slowing down. The days are getting shorter. The temperatures are getting colder. Like animals are going to start to go into hibernation soon enough, or they're at least preparing for hibernation now. So Mars retrograde is right on time with that trend and that theme of the energy. And again, we talked about this at the very beginning of Scorpio season, but a refresher for you all of what is to come with Mars retrograde through the end of the year. So Mars has been in Gemini for months now. It's a very extended stay, an extended transit through Gemini, because it's retrograde in Gemini for the entire retrograde. So Mars got to 25 degrees of Gemini, then it's going to go back all the way to, I want to say 8 degrees of Gemini, and then go forward again. Remember, Mars is the planet of action, aggression, impulse, war, conflict, these very masculine energies. And during Mars retrograde, it could be that we're reviewing all the places that we've already put our energy, all the actions that we've already taken. And this review, this slowdown, helps us to really decide what we want and what our true desires are. By slowing down, they can become clearer. Now, I think it's really cool too that Mars is at this standstill as it switches directions right around All Hallows Eve, right around Dia de los Muertos, this time when the veil is thin. It's kind of this huge opportunity to pause and connect with higher guidance, because there's not this pressure to go and do and act. It's like our action is paused. And in this pause, we can find sacred connection. So I just love that. I mean, there are no coincidences, but I love the timing of Mars stationing retrograde. The coming months, as we slow down, offer us an opportunity to get really clear about what we want. What's the goal? What's our motivation? What's the direction we're heading? So Mars retrograde is really asking us to check in with our energy and the actions we're taking. And also, Mars and Gemini, as we talked about, as Mars moved into Gemini, feels a lot like juggling, like you're multitasking, doing a lot of different things at the same time. Gemini energy likes variety. So with Mars and Gemini, we have had our energy going a lot of different places in the spirit of variety, but it could feel like you've been juggling all these things. I know I've been feeling that. It could feel like you've been juggling all these things, taking action in all these different places. And Mars retrograde allows the balls to fall out of the air and for you to look at like, okay, how much have I been juggling? How much have I been carrying? And is this sustainable? I'm going to slow down for a second. And even like almost as if you juggled the balls more slowly, what would that feel like? Would you be able to keep as many of them in the air? I can't juggle personally, but I know that the more things you have juggling, the faster you have to move, right? So it could be that the slowdown shows you, oh, I can't actually keep all of these balls in the air at the same time. And you know, it also feels as if Mars retrograde is kind of aligning us with calling our energy back from anything that we're not getting anything out of. Like, how many places are you putting your energy into that aren't actually giving back to you? So Mars retrograde, it should be an interesting extended retrograde. And above all else, it's just asking us to slow the heck down. And once Mars resumes forward motion on January 12th, hopefully we will all have a clearer idea of our true desires and what we really want. And knowing that, clarifying that during this slowdown can help us take more aligned action when Mars is moving forward again. Also, Mars in Gemini has maybe made our mental state feel a little chaotic as well, because Gemini is very much about the mental state and conversations, or we've been really assertive in conversations that we're having. Mars retrograde can soften that a little bit and maybe allow the mental chatter to slow down a little bit too. So I'm curious to see what this brings. It feels like it's just another element of this slowdown we've been talking about. Yeah, my Mars in Taurus feels comfortable with this slowing down. Exactly. You know, with your Mars in Taurus, it's slow and steady. It's what's sustainable, what's going to keep us going. And remember, we just came out of Mars in Taurus, right? So we know that energy. We understand that our actions need to be sustainable. We just had that transit a couple months ago, and Mars in Gemini felt like it really picked up the pace and it kind of pulled us in all these different directions. So now is the time to come back to ourselves, right? Feeling the slowdown and going to think about the energy put places more, not all really worth it. Yeah. And you have time to figure it out too in this slowdown. So it doesn't feel like everything's going to come to a halt necessarily. It's just kind of this review of what have I been doing? Mars is all about doing. What have I been doing with my energy? Yes, also love this potential for clarity as my progressed moon in Scorpio wraps up during Scorpio season 2. It's going to be beautiful. So full permission to just slow the heck down and review your own motivations, review your own desires over the next couple months. Yeah, hoping things fall away that don't need my attention anymore. Yes, and Gemini energy is all about stimulation, right? And so a lot of our motivation with Mars and Gemini could be to like continue getting stimulation. But with Mars moving backward, it's like, do I really need this much stimulation? Do I really need this much going on all at the same time, you know? So that's something to keep in mind as well. I think you will definitely feel the slowdown after the wedding is over. You've been planning and planning and planning with Mars and Gemini, juggling all these things, doing all these things, getting everything ready. And then I think it could feel like, for you at least, Diane, just this big like, oh, okay, we can slow down now. We don't have to have that constant juggling of the wedding planning anymore. Very, very aligned. And I love that we're using Diane's wedding as an example for all of the transits playing out this weekend. I feel like it really helps, at least for me, get a clear visual of what the energy is going to look like. Yeah, I feel like I'm being pulled into multiple directions. I just really want to focus on what's important to me. And that is exactly what Mars retrograde is going to help us do. Okay, oh, my wedding falls, and then we start planning Rachel's. Yes, but allow yourself to do it slow and steady. And again, review, what do I really want? That's a great place to start planning a wedding from, even during a retrograde, like being in review of what do I really want? What's really important to me, right? Okay, the moon stays in Capricorn all day on Sunday. And at 5 a.m. Pacific time, 8 a.m. Eastern time, the moon squares Chiron. So even in this slow, steady, practical Capricorn moon, old wounds could resurface on Sunday morning. We might be triggered. One of my favorite ways to describe Capricorn energy is this meme I saw a couple years ago, and it was like all the signs, the same meme, but different text on them. And then the Capricorn meme was just like a T-Rex blowing up. And that feels like what could happen on Sunday. Not saying it's going to happen, but just know Capricorn energy is the moon in Capricorn. We kind of like are reserved. We're not super emotional. We're not super tapped into our intuition. We're just kind of like, it is what it is, Capricorn energy. But your triggers could even surprise you with this square to Chiron, and you might even be surprised with how quickly or easily you could kind of react or blow up. So try to keep your wits about you, slow and steady. Use your logic and be like, is my reaction really worth it when the moon squares Chiron on Sunday morning? Hopefully you just sleep in and sleep through it, because isn't that nice? By the way, just backtracking a second, Mars station's retrograde at about 6:30 in the morning, 9:30 Eastern time. So we're kind of waking up under that retrograde station as well. That might be with Chiron, kind of this square to Chiron playing out at the same time, could be a little touchy on Sunday morning. But we experience a really positive change on Sunday afternoon, 11 a.m. Pacific time. The moon and Uranus lock into a trine, this nice harmonious 120-degree angle to Uranus. And this brings a positive shift, a positive change, even a positive disruption in a way. So get excited, kind of expect the unexpected, and know that any disruptions or changes that are happening are likely to bring good fortune on Sunday. And here's what the chart looks like. You can see the moon coming into that trine with Uranus on Sunday morning or Sunday afternoon. So yeah, surprises, chance encounters. Just know that fortune is on our side, even when we can't quite make sense of things, or it feels like something is kind of weird or different or off. Like, lean into doing it differently when the moon and Uranus connect. Innovative ideas can come through really beautifully too with the moon and Uranus in this angle. So I will also say disruptions could create innovation with this aspect playing out. Okay, and then the final aspect of the weekend, the moon, 8 p.m. Pacific time, 11 p.m. Eastern time. This is how we wrap up the weekend. The moon is connecting with Neptune and Lilith. And this is kind of embarking us on this longer term transit that we'll talk about in about a week. But you can see the dark blue line on the chart here. Lilith and Neptune are in a trine for a couple weeks in this extended trine because they both move so slowly, right? And so Lilith being the dark moon, representing this repressed part of ourselves that wants to be wild, and then Neptune being the planet of dreams, imagination, and creativity. Wild creativity feels like the easiest way to sum up this long-term trine. Wild imagination, even like kind of, I don't want to say hostile imagination, but it could be like we're breaking free of what things should look like, right? With Lilith and Neptune connecting. Maybe our ideals shift and are changed when we throw the word should out the window. We stop shoulding all over ourselves, and we can create and imagine a deeper, more authentic version of our expression and our creativity. But when the moon connects with both of these planets late Sunday night, it's giving us this little preview of this energy that we're stepping into over the coming weeks. We have a heightened awareness of our bodily desires as the moon opposes Lilith. Lilith in Cancer really bringing our attention to bodily autonomy and any repressed emotions in the body that we've been holding on to are coming up with Lilith in Cancer. And the sextile to Neptune between the moon helps us to lean into compassion and empathy for ourselves and for others. So it might just be that you realize your bodily needs with Lilith opposing the moon. I need rest. And then Neptune is right there to be like, okay, well then give yourself some rest. Let's get into bed a little early tonight, or just at a normal time. Like, let's not try to push the weekend too long. Let's really listen to what we need and stand up for our needs. I feel like also we're more aware of our own power when the moon opposes Lilith. And if we're not tapped into the rational awareness of our power, our body will likely show us that awareness, or show us what we need to know, what we really need. So, Lilith can be bitchy, can be harsh. And so I think another byproduct of this transit is if you feel yourself getting cranky or bitchy or being too hostile on Sunday night, it might be a big indicator, like, I'm tired, I'm sleepy, what do I need? So that's something to ask yourself this Sunday. What do I need? And if you don't know rationally, your body will probably show you the way. Hello, this is Nate, Diane's significant other. We're so excited for you, Nate. We're so excited for the wedding. So happy you're here. We've been chatting about your nuptials this whole time. All of us are getting so excited and sending so much love and energy to you. Corby, I've got a Capricorn stellium and my sun has a Capricorn moon. Bracing myself. I think you'll really feel good in the energy of this weekend, though. Scorpio and Capricorn energy will feel really good this weekend, I think, honestly, because there's so much. Well, first of all, Capricorn and Scorpio are very compatible energies, and you're going to be feeling on your own, or in your own vibe. Now, with all the Capricorn that you might tend to be a little cold or harsh. So just being aware of that. It might not be like bracing yourself, maybe bracing the people around the two of you for the coldness that could ensue, but you're already aware you're going to be just fine. So Neptune is also trining my moon. What does this grand trine mean for me? Oh, great question, Rachel. Over the next couple weeks. So we're talking about your Scorpio moon, Neptune, and Lilith. I think, again, just having compassion for yourself, definitely actually heightened creativity for you. With the Scorpio moon and Neptune connecting like this, it feels very creative, artistic, imaginative. But I think also your ideals could be reimagined under this grand trine. Like, really understanding your own emotions and what you want and need could help you to see things in a different light, and to even like reframe what you think is true and right. So it's definitely positive, and I think on a basic level, lots of creativity, lots of imagination coming through for you. Yes, move with compassion. Move with compassion. I feel like anybody with major Capricorn placements, when they come into the world, should just be given like a card to carry around with them. Like, be compassionate, because it's easy to forget when you are dominantly Capricorn energy. Not everything is logical. Not everything is it right brain or left brain? You know what I'm saying. I think it's right brain. So you can be more compassionate and flowy and creative, and kind of the energy I was just touching on with what Rachel is experiencing, like a lot of fluidity and creativity. Leaning into that can help us reach deeper levels of compassion, especially those of us that are have a little bit of a cold exterior. All right, so those are the transits this weekend. I would love to return to today's affirmation, and an affirmation I think we can really carry with us through the coming months. I find clarity in moments of stillness, and even slowness, I would like to add as a caveat. Sometimes slowing down is exactly what we need to do to get clearer on what it is that we really want or that we really feel. So if it feels like things aren't moving at the pace you want them to move at, or if it feels like you're not excited about a slowdown, like you really want things to keep moving and pick up quicker, remember that sometimes the universe slows us down to show us something else we might not be seeing in the moment, or stalls our plans to show us plans that might be more aligned or might be more exciting, or something doesn't work out because it would prohibit us for something even better that's down the road for us. So remember, clarity can be found in these moments of stillness, or even just in moments of slowness. Okay, and we will end our weekend forecast with a tarot pull. I haven't done a 3-card tarot pull in a while, and now that I'm thinking about it, I might change my mind and do that. I think I'm going to do that. I was going to just do 1 pull, but you know what? We're going to do a 3-card pull. So with that being said, I'm going to put this deck away and quickly go grab a different one. Stand by. Yes. Okay, I'm back. We're going to pull from this little tiny everyday tarot deck. We'll just do 3 cards, 1 for Friday, 1 for Saturday, 1 for Sunday, and see what needs to come through. Yes to the 3 pull. It's been so long. I haven't done that in a while. Rachel says, thank you. I definitely feel more creative and just wanting to go with the flow. Also gaining more spiritual insights and learning more about myself and the strength I have. That is a beautiful description for the trine that you're experiencing right now. Absolutely. Like knowing your own power and your spiritual power, what you deserve, there's spiritual power that comes into knowing our worth and knowing what we're capable of, So I love that. Perfect, beautiful description. You are your own best astrologer. It's okay. It's okay. Give yourself compassion, Nick. Need to think about speaking more positivity and the need to stop using so many shoulds. Even now, you're kind of being hard on yourself. So, maybe starting with gratitude, starting with 1 positive affirmation about yourself, like I am committed to bettering myself. I love how committed I am to becoming a better person every day. That is saying basically the same thing you're saying right here, but putting a positive spin on it. My toxic positivity will always come in and show you a different way of saying the same thing. So, I am capable of speaking positivity into my life. I deserve to speak kindly about myself. All these things to maybe reframe. Each day feels like it needs its own guidance. Yes. Okay, good. I'm glad I changed my mind. Gratitude is something better to think about. Yes. Starting your day with gratitude, even if you don't have a written gratitude practice, just while you're brushing your teeth or washing your face or in the shower or whatever it is, thinking about 3 or 5 things that you're grateful for in that moment. I'm grateful for hot water. I'm grateful that I have a safe roof over my head. I'm grateful for friends. I'm grateful for the funny movie that was on TV last night. It can be really simple things. Yes, sending Nick some positivity. I think you're doing great from everything you've been sharing. Y'all are so sweet to each other. Okay, let's all take a moment together, my friends, to take a deep breath and see what needs to come through for this powerful weekend. So here we go. Breathe in. And release. What do we need to know? The Queen of Cups is our first card for Friday. The Wheel of Fortune is our second card for Saturday. And the Fool is our third card for Sunday. Okay. This already feels very fun. So, our Friday card, the Queen of Cups. Let's see what message she has for us. I always give the disclaimer with tarot cards. I'm not a tarot expert. I just read from the guidebook. So, apologies, you're not getting a full breakdown from a tarot reader. But here is what the Queen of Cups upright brings us. You are the nurturer, the mother. You support others by listening with your heart, being compassionate, and caring for them deeply. You are highly intuitive, creative, and in flow with the energies around you. This just feels very positive. Like, look at what you're capable of. And it feels very in line with the Sagittarius moon, the positivity we're feeling on this Friday, and definitely like an acknowledgement of our own creativity, our own capacity, our own capabilities. And, you support others by listening with your heart, being compassionate, and caring for them deeply. There's an energy of generosity with this waxing crescent moon in Sagittarius today. So it feels like the Queen of Cups is acknowledging us for our ability to be generous and compassionate and positive. Really feeling the positivity, speaking of positivity, from all of you today. And I'm feeling the positivity because I think the internet is working better too. So I'm actually able to show up, hopefully, nobody said anything about it, hopefully in a clearer way than the past couple days. Okay, our Saturday card, the Wheel of Fortune. Now, I did pull the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, so I'm going to read it in reverse. But remember, reverse isn't always a bad thing. Ooh, okay. Wheel of Fortune in reverse for Saturday. It may feel as if life is happening to you, not for you, and that you are always running into bad luck, but you have a choice. You can be at cause or at effect. Ooh, I love this. I love this especially for eclipse season, for the intensity of the weekend ahead, for deep trust, right? The Wheel of Fortune in reverse makes it seem like maybe fortune is working against you. Maybe you're running into bad luck tomorrow. Maybe things aren't going exactly how you want them to go. But instead of thinking like, wow, this is how things should be, you coming back to that word should, right? Instead of thinking, oh gosh, like, of course this is happening to me. Of course this would happen. Remember, our words are powerful. Mercury moves into Scorpio. Speak a spell if bad luck arises and just say, like, thank you for opening me to something better. Thank you for rearranging things and allowing something even better to come through. Being in deep trust of the universe supporting you and guiding you, and knowing that life is happening for you, not to you. Now, upright, the Wheel of Fortune is all about a cycle of change. The wheel is turning and your situation is constantly evolving and shifting. What goes up must come down and vice versa. So this is all about transformation, and transformation can sometimes feel like things are falling apart or, bad things are happening, but we're always guided. We're always supported. Yeah. Thank you. I have no issues today. Yay. Thank you, universe. Thank you, Sagittarius optimism. Yeah, Saturday is that Scorpio energy, trusting in the transformation, trusting in the darkness, trusting in the unfolding. Yes. Oh, this is freaking perfect. Rachel keeps telling me tomorrow won't go as planned. It never does. We'll try to let go of those shoulds. And that's the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. What Rachel is saying is probably right. It's not going to go exactly as planned. In fact, even if you're running late, it might just be that you say your I do's with Mercury at 0 degrees of Scorpio versus Mercury at 29 degrees of Libra. Either way is going to be so powerful and so perfect. And so I think this Wheel of Fortune is really coming up for you, Diane, as a reminder that you're not in control, that the transformation is going to unfold exactly how it's going to unfold, that this wedding is a portal you're stepping into, and you don't really know exactly how it's going to feel in the midst of it, but you do know where you're going, and the end result is that you're going to spend the rest of your life with this amazing man who even popped in on the chat here, is, woo-woo enough to hang with us. We love a woo-woo man. He's with it. We love it. And you have supportive, wonderful people around you that if things don't go as planned, trust in the connections you have and the relationships you have with other people to keep things going, and have fun in the messiness if it doesn't go as planned. There's lessons in the messy and the imperfect. Yes. Grow together authentically. Part of your speech. I love how this is totally, your speech is totally tying in with the transits. Yeah. Letting that control go and with the flow of the universe. Beautifully said from a Capricorn stellium. Yes, yes, yes. And she has so much support. We will get through this no matter what happens. And you will enjoy it. Remember, you're not trying to get through it. Like, enjoy it. If something funny or weird happens, like, laugh at it. That's going to be a story. If things don't go as planned, there's usually a great story to tell after the fact about your wedding day and how so-and-so forgot this and we were delayed by 15 minutes because they were running around town or whatever it is. I don't want to speak that out there, but I know it's going to be such a perfect day. Yes, I can tell he's amazing. Of course he is. He's choosing you. Yes. My fiance is not woo-woo, but he's getting to the point when I'm upset. He just tells me to watch Olivia. Well, he's getting there then, right? At least he allows you to be woo-woo, and he allows you to be your authentic self, and that is beautiful too. Yeah. We've all got your back. We're all going to be sending so much love to Diane as we visualize her walking down the aisle tomorrow. Ooh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Yes. Okay, and our Sunday card. Our Sunday card is the Fool, the very first card in the deck, the Fool. Talk about new beginnings on Sunday. Upright, new opportunities and beginnings are available to you. Be open-minded and curious, ready to explore and discover new things. Play, have fun, and be spontaneous. It's interesting, we pulled the Fool, this new beginnings card, when Mars is stationing retrograde. Because Mars is all about starting, going, doing. And it's almost as if the pause with Mars and Gemini stationing retrograde could reveal to us where there is an opening for a new beginning. It could even be like a reset rather than a new beginning. Mars retrograde could be this reset of resetting our energy, resetting where we're extending ourselves, what we're doing, how we're doing it. So the Fool can help us with Mars stationing retrograde, look at our life with fresh eyes and, really take Sunday to be like, okay, what do I want? And there is a jumping off point. There is an opportunity there. So I love this 3-card pull. How aligned. Yes, yes, yes. Same here, Katie says. My husband started to ask me what's going on with the astrology on the off days. See, all you have to do is live your life and do what you want to do. And those guys will start to come around. That's how my partner started. Like, what's going on today? Is something weird? Or like, if he's watching a game, he'll be like, or betting on something, I don't know, the things that guys do. He'll be like, what's going on with the energy, to like ask for my help and support. So I'm like, I am happy to be that person for you. And now he's starting slowly, but I mean, it's taken years, but now he understands the energy. He gets it. Yeah. I love it. One time I was crying and he was like, okay, tell me what planet is retrograde. And I sobbed like, Pluto just went forward. I love that. I love that so much. Yes, we are sending so much love, and laughter and joy and lightheartedness, because there is a stellium in Scorpio on your wedding day, right? There is an intensity to it. So sometimes it can be good to just laugh things off, to clear some tension. Laughter is the best medicine. That's a saying for a reason, but it really can clear physical tension. So, if you're getting a little nervous or anything, Rachel, this is your sign to crack a joke, make Diane laugh, clear any like nervousness or energy as the day goes on. It's going to be amazing. Yes, your wedding is going to be beautiful. Sending you so much love. Yes. Thank you all for being here. I hope and I know you will have the most beautiful weekend ahead. I know we're all going to be feeling that energy. We're all interconnected here. We're all tied together in this community now. Yes, you got this. I love feeling Rachel and Diane together. Such a powerhouse, you two. And we'll all be thinking of you. I'll be thinking of each and every one of you this weekend, speaking positive energy into your lives. I love having you here. It does feel good. We are all aligned. We're all connected for a reason. The universe brought us all together to support each other. And you all know where to find me if you ever have questions or if you ever need me. I deeply care about each and every one of you so much. All right. That's going to do it for the weekend forecast. I will see you all on Monday on Halloween. We'll have a fun Halloween episode. We're going to be talking about the history of Halloween, of Samhain, the pagan roots of it all. I love to do that on holidays. And of course, the energy. The moon will be in Aquarius on Halloween, so it's definitely a fun day to get a little weird, be a little funky, throw on a funny costume, and express your weird, unique, authentic self. So I will see, yes, I can't wait to see the footage of the wedding. Hopefully we have some fun stuff to share by next week. And I will see all of you weirdos on Halloween. But until I see you next, stay curious. Thank you so much for joining us and aligning with the energy of the universe today. If you enjoyed this morning's episode of Transits Today, you can join our live astrology discussion every weekday morning right here wherever you're watching. And head to thespiritualjournalist.com to read your daily astrology forecast and browse the Spiritual Shop. The most fun way to help keep these forecasts free and support more content like this is to buy yourself a little something on our website. But if you're feeling extra generous, you can also buy me a coffee to fuel future live streams. Just tap the link in the description or head to buymeacoffee.com and search The Spiritual Journalist. And speaking of, you can also tune in to The Spiritual Journalist, our weekly live interview where we ask our guests questions about everything from crystals and manifestation to mental health and the environment. Those conversations stream live right here wherever you're watching now every Tuesday. I'm so grateful you found us here, and I can't wait for our next conversation.